Hello, everyone. Welcome into Simply Life. I'm Keith Casebolt. My dear friend across from me, 6 foot in distance, by the way, is Gary C. Johnson.
I think we need to move a little farther apart just in case.
So that we can yell at each other.
That's right.
Yeah.
Isn't it wonderful to be alive and to not have the virus?
You know, I have found myself being more appreciative for all things in life. And you know, Gary, I think sometimes people say, oh, Gary's always telling us to be appreciative and to be happy and to be thankful. If ever
There's a time.
there's a time to be that way, it's now, isn't it?
I was thinking about a little bit about what we might talk about today, and I got to looking at around my desk, and I saw the book, The Art of Living by Wilfred Peterson. I said, you know, that might be something in there that we could talk to our friends about today. And one of the sections on The Art of Living by Mr. Peterson is about the art of living each day. Because, my friends, we know we have today, right?
That's it.
And we don't have any, we got a promise of tomorrow, but no guarantee.
Well, if anything, the times they're telling us about the uncertainty of everything right now. We are actually living day to day.
So he starts off, each day is a lifetime in a miniature. To awaken each morning is to be born again. To fall asleep at night is to die to the day, right?
Makes sense.
Okay. In between waking and sleeping are the golden hours of the day. Yes, right?
I like where you're going.
What we cannot do for a lifetime, we can do for a day, right?
I see, yes.
Anyone, wrote Robert Louis Stevenson, can live sweetly, patiently, lovingly, purely, till the sun goes down during a day.
During one day.
During one day, okay. Anyone can hold his temper for a day and guard the words he speak. You think so? You think really you can be impeccable with the word a whole day?
Listen, I've had so much fun with those 4 agreements because I have broken them, and I can't tell you how many people say, have you ever got through a day with being impeccable? No. Have you ever got through a day without criticizing? No. It's almost impossible. It is impossible.
It's probably not impossible if you take time to think.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to take time to think because we're human.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, what's next? Anyone can carry his burden heroically for one day.
And Gary, that's a great statement because there's a lot of people carrying burdens that are probably going to be bigger than yours right now.
Now here's the next one. Anyone can be happy for a day and spread happiness around for a day. Right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Anyone can radiate love for a day. Anyone can rise above fear for a day and meet each situation with courage. Now, talking about the virus and rising above fear.
Mm-hmm.
All my friends that are listening can rise above this fear for one day.
Just today.
Just today.
And you do that by doing the steps you talked about on the last program. You wash your hands, you keep your distance, you do everything that you can possibly do, and then you put the fear factor out of it.
For a day.
For a day.
Huh? Anyone can be kind and thoughtful and considerate for a day.
Boy, if there's ever a time right now to be kind and thoughtful and considerate, this is the time.
Today.
Today.
We're not going to ask people to do anything other than today.
Right.
Right?
Don't worry about tomorrow.
Yeah, today.
Take care of it today.
Anyone can endeavor to learn something new each day and mark some growth each day. Right? Just today.
I like that challenge.
Sir William Osler pointed out that just as ships are kept afloat by airtight compartments, living in daylight compartments will help us avoid wrecking our lives. For a day.
For a day.
The supreme art of living is to strive to live each day well. Right? One day.
Absolutely.
When we fail and fall short, let us forgive ourselves and consider the words of Emerson. Finish every day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders, naturally, some absurdities, most without doubt, have crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day.
Great advice.
You will begin it well and serenely and with too high a spirit to be encumbered by your old nonsense of yesterday.
That is great advice. Probably one of the toughest things that I've ever tried to overcome is to stop living in the past and worrying about the mistakes you made.
Right.
That day is over.
And here's the last thing he has to say about it. Live a day at a time,
Mm-hmm.
and remember that tomorrow is another today. So what he's saying is, if you do each and every one of these things each day,
Mm-hmm.
then you will have lived a full and complete life, and you will be happy. But don't expect yourself to do it for more than a day.
What I like about that is you're not asking people to change their lives for 10 years. You're asking people to wake up today and say, today only, I'm going to choose to be happy. I'm going to do the things that you went through on this list today. Now, if I wake up tomorrow, I'll try another day.
It'll be another day that you're going to do the same thing. That's the point.
I like the approach.
And you can do it one day at a time.
Well, certainly.
Anyone, just listen to it, anyone can hold their temper for a day. Right?
24 hours.
So make each day a new day.
Mm-hmm.
And learn. Talk about temper a little bit. I've said this on the program before. It's been a while since I've said it. A temper and anger and losing it is a luxury
Mm-hmm.
that we allow ourselves to indulge in. And you say, well, I can't control my temper. Oh, yes, you can. Oh, you can control your temper.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are or what you're saying.
Yes, you can.
You will only let your temper flare when you think there's no repercussions. You will never let your temper flare when it's in a situation that you will have repercussions.
Now, to our friends out there, when Gary first shared this with me, I said, no, Gary, listen, my son did this, he said this, and I had to lose my temper, and I had to do this. And Gary, you came back and you said, what if that had been your boss that said that? Would you have lost your temper? And I was like, well, of course not. No, I wouldn't have lost my temper because I would have been fired if I'd have said or acted or did the things that I acted. But that was my son, and I got away with it.
And you knew you could.
And
Therefore, you indulged in the luxury.
yeah, and then after you pointed it out, I felt so horrible because here's the one person on earth I love more than anything that I would lose my temper with when the other person I wasn't. I was holding my temper and controlling it. Man, did I feel awful.
Well, you can have a temper if you choose to. The only problem is it's really expensive. And if you've got all the money you ever want in the world and all the friends you could ever hope to imagine, maybe you could go around indulging in having a temper. Otherwise, it's too expensive. So, my friends, if any of you Indulge in the luxury of losing your temper. Quit it. It's too expensive, and it's untelling what it's cost you in the past.
It's also embarrassing, isn't it?
Well, it's a luxury. It's just a luxury people allow themselves.
You know, a couple of years ago, you had talked about the temper, and I was in an airport, and I watched a waiter come to a table, and he accidentally spilled the water. And the lady at the table lost her temper, just what you were talking about, with the waiter. Gary, there was about 8 or 9 people that was there in the little cafe that got up and went over and helped the guy clean up, gave him tips, talked to him, patted him on the back, and there sat the one customer by themselves, looking completely horrible because of the temper this person displayed.
So my friends that are listening, henceforth, are going to control their temper and never lose it.
For a day.
For a day.
Yes.
For a day.
And if you do that, the 24-hour rule kicks in. You probably won't have it the next day anyway.
And sometimes what causes people to lose their temper is the words people are saying to them, right? So in this book, The Art of Living by Wilfred Peterson, what did he have to say about words? I think it's pretty interesting. And we'll share some of it with my friends, since we got a little time, right?
We do have time, and words are powerful.
The art of words is what this section is, this chapter. The dictionary is full of words. It is how words are used that make the big difference. Words can lift us into heaven and lower us into hell. Good words amount a man, ill words kill a man. Right? Words sung in a lullaby can put a babe to sleep. Words of hatred and passion can arouse a mob to violence. Words have both the explosive power of a nuclear bomb and the soothing effect of oil on troubled waters. They can start a war or they can keep the peace. The art of words is to use them in a creative way, to select and arrange them to inspire the mind, stir the heart, lift the spirits. Words of encouragement fan the spark of genius into the flame of achievement. Legends tell us that Lincoln's dying mother called her small son to her bedside and whispered, "Be somebody, Abe."
Wow.
Words are magnets that draw back to us the thoughts they express. Beware, beware, warned the Hindu mystic. What goes forth from you will come back to you. So think about words and using them. My friends, they are dangerous.
Powerful.
That's why under 4 agreements it says, to the extent you can, be impeccable with the word.
The illustration you just gave about the words, that they can start wars, they can stop wars. They can save a man, they can kill a man. I mean, that's pretty powerful when you think that the language coming out of your mouth. And Gary, let me ask you, in this day and time, is that even more powerful with all of the texting and the emailing that we do? Because now, instead of just saying the words, we put them into print.
Well, and we don't think before we prescind.
No, we don't. And that lives on forever.
And the last thing he says about it is, choose your words carefully. They will go marching down the years in the lives you touch.
You know what always is amazing about that also, because doing these programs, I've run into people that said, Gary said this on the program, and that day I needed that message. Or Gary read this story, and there's no way that he knew that I was going through what I was going through, but I needed that message, or I needed that uplift, or I needed to be told that I'm okay the way that I am. You never know when you speak words who they impact and how they impact those people.
Well, as you know, Keith, the preparation for this program is basically none.
Oh, don't give our secret out. Yeah, there is preparation. We make a cup of coffee. we sit down in the studio and
we turn on the microphone.
Turn on the microphones and we just start talking.
And we sit here and we just talk, and things come to us to talk about.
Things that we encounter in life, just like everybody else encounters.
Which tells me, again, that I believe, and I'm becoming more and more believing this, that we're all connected in some way.
I'm starting to see what you're talking about that.
And that if there's a need, I think everybody feels it. And it may be just a little teeny, almost microscopic feeling. Mm-hmm. But I think we feel other people's suffering and we feel their needs. I really do.
We feel the fear. What you're talking about today,
yeah.
There's a lot of fear right now in our country. There's a lot of worry. There's a lot of uncertainty. And you're sitting here today telling us, let's just live today.
We're not going to worry about the fear, the uncertainty, or what's going to happen today.
Just today.
So we can keep from doing that for a day.
Mm-hmm.
So, my friends, let's be happy today.
The day that we have.
Remember, you're special. You won the big lottery. You were born. Hoo-hoo. That's the big lottery. You were given a gift of life. You were given the opportunity to be on this earth and to be unique. Mm-hmm. With no one else in the universe like you, or no other thing in the universe like you. Think about that. Now, so for today, let's put all of our worries aside. It'll be what they're going to be. And let's make the most of today.
And you know, Gary, what you're talking about, this comes down to it's our responsibility to ourselves, right? We're accountable for this.
No one can make you happy except you. No, a lot of people can make you miserable. They'd love to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Misery does love company, you know.
Yeah, you're going to get a little feedback when you try to be happy, because people are going to ask you, don't you know what's going on? Don't you understand? You shouldn't be
Why aren't you worried?
Yeah.
Why aren't you whining and crying about this like I am? Well, I can't do anything about it, so why should I whine and cry? I'm going to feel good.
All I can do is follow the guidelines.
That's right. I'm going to take a nice walk. I'm going to look at the sunshine. If it's rain, I may even get out in the rain. What the heck? I'm alive.
Yeah.
And each and every one that's listening to this program, you're alive. And there's potential. And there's hope. And I'm hoping in your heart that you're blossoming with a little bit of happiness and sense of well-being about the fact that you're alive.
You know, you're saying we're all connected. Do you get the feeling right now from all of our friends and everybody that when we do come out of this, that we're going to be more appreciative, that we're going to have more empathy for each other, and that we're going to be a better people?
We don't have to come out of it to do it. It's already here.
It's already happening.
Right.
You're seeing some great stories.
Aren't you about to die, the fact you can't get together with your friends and hang out?
Absolutely. Miss them.
Yes.
I miss
We're
them.
a social being.
Miss going to a lunch in a restaurant and sitting down.
And now the next time you get together with your friends, you'll say, oh, goody, goody, goody. I'm glad I'm here. I really appreciate my friends.
Yeah. I'll never, ever say I have to go on a weekend vacation with the kids. I have to. No, it'll be I am so blessed to get to go on a weekend vacation with the kids.
That's
yes.
right. And it's amazing. Sometimes it's a wake-up call. We have to look at the silver lining if there is one. We have to try to find it.
And you hit that key word there, the hope.
The hope. We have hope. We have today.
Mm-hmm.
And we can do all kinds of things for one day. And all I'm asking my friends is, put all this stuff and worries behind you for one day. That's today.
You know, I'm amazed at people. You have told me time and time again, in general, people are good. And when you see some of these stories, Gary, about nurses traveling to New York, about people making masks, and I just saw in the local paper the other day, some women were sewing masks for the nurses and volunteering. There are so many good people right now trying to do good things for their neighbors and the nursing homes and the nurses and the doctors that are on the front lines right now. We've got great people.
Unbelievable, wonderful people that's listening to this program. Thank you for listening. And I hope that you understand how wonderful you are, how unique, in the sense that you're just a good, decent human being.
Making a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, important. Very, very important.
You know, I had someone the other day say, I'm almost afraid to go to the grocery store. I said, what do you think about the clerks that are there checking you out and the people that are there trying to stock the shelves so that you can go to the grocery store?
Right.
They're putting themselves at risk to make sure that you can get the food. There's some heroes.
There's heroes everywhere, Keith.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you there's a bunch of heroes that are listening to this program right now that's doing extraordinary things. First responders, people that are out there, just the people in the grocery stores, the gas stations, the double quicks. I mean, I'm telling you, look around you and realize, my friends, how wonderful it is to be living with these people.
And you know what? A key word, essential. The people that are open right now, the people that are working, they're called essential. So all of these individuals need to know they are essential. They're important. They're needed. We can't make it in this life without them.
And once you reach that sense of being inside you, you will grow from that and become more.
You will be happy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. Remember what this program's all about, is, folks, be happy. It feels good to be happy. It don't feel good when you're not happy.
No.
It's misery.
No.
So let's all decide to just be happy for a day.
You know, you have gotten to me. I realize now what a waste of time it is to be angry. What a waste of time it is to argue with someone. What a waste of time it is to carry a grudge against someone. It is a total waste of time.
There's someone out there right now that someone's hurt their feelings. I guarantee you.
Whether it was non-intentional or intentional, it's happened.
So what, my friends? They hurt your feelings. You're in control of your feelings, not them, right? So how can they hurt your feelings
And make you feel sad.
and make you feel sad unless you agree to let them? So right now, if they've hurt your feelings, put it behind you.
Gary.
That's go forward.
When you put it into those terms, it's almost asinine that somebody could do a slap in the face or a slur or say something negative about you and that you would believe it and be hurt and be upset over it. Who cares what they say? You know the truth.
That's right. So, my friends, you are the ones that's in control of your feelings, not them. Once you let them hurt your feelings, you have given them a degree of control over you.
You know, I've got
Withdrawal permission.
I've got to tell my friends, I've been doing this program with you for 20 years. I have never, ever heard you raise your voice. I have never, ever seen you lose your temper. I have asked you, Gary, surely someone has said something bad about you, and you said, yeah, I'm sure they have. I just forgot what it was or who they were. You just absolutely block all of that out.
I am in charge of my feelings. The world isn't. I get to choose how I feel.
Boy, that's powerful, isn't it?
And my friends, you have that same power. You get to choose how you feel. Now, if you want to allow someone to hurt your feelings, that's okay. That's a choice you make. But I recommend you don't allow them to do it. I recommend you withdraw permission and say, I'm not going to let you hurt my feelings. I don't care.
If the first time you do it, if you've never done this, if you follow Gary's instructions, the first time you do it, you're going to feel like Superman with the cape. It's going to be like you've got this.
It's like you're out of jail.
It's like you got this superpower that you can shield off anything that comes your way. it doesn't have any effect on you. Kryptonite doesn't work anymore.
That's right.
Oh, my goodness. My friend, a great program. Thank you so much. So here's the deal. As the art of living that Gary was talking about, the two major things today. You've got today. And then the second thing, think about the power of words when you speak them. You really pointed that out. Words can start wars or they could stop wars. How are you going to choose to use them?
And if you let them, words can hurt your feelings.
Ooh, yes. You can catch Gary's television show Tuesday nights on WYMT, your CBS affiliate, 7 p.m. on Tuesday nights. A late-night replay is on in Central Kentucky at WKYT. And if you're watching the Fox channel in Central Kentucky, you can catch us early mornings on Monday and Friday around 6:30 a.m. If you need to get in touch with Gary, it's GaryCJohnson.com. My friend, great lesson. And for today,
be happy.
We're going to be happy. On behalf of Gary C. Johnson, I'm Keith Casebolt. Thank you so much for taking this time to share with us. As always, Gary and I look forward to seeing you again next week, right here at this same time.